We're going to do one photo that will jump out. Okay. She do.
This is your daily dose of all things royal.
I have a grudging respect for the absolutely brazen nature of her approach. Doesn't matter what criticism rains down on them both. On she goes. On she goes. Where will she go next, Tom? This is the thing. I mean, she's got some resilience, old Meghan, hasn't she?
Yes, and I think there are 2 points there. The first thing is that she is a celebrity, but she pretends to be royalty. And that is the big issue.
Pseudo-royal.
Well, she's not
Duchess.
pseudo-royal. She is the wife of the fifth or sixth in line of succession. If, God forbid, something happened to the whole Welleses, he'd be king and she'd be queen. So she's trading on royalty. Now, she can be a celebrity, but then she shouldn't have the title with all that goes with it. And secondly, she is phenomenally resilient. She has taken a huge amount of stick. And I do admire the fact that when she is humiliated, when she is criticized, she disappears and only reappears wonderfully coiffured, wonderfully presentable, smiling, to show that she is absolutely impervious to the criticism, where in fact all the insiders say that it becomes an absolute nightmare when she is criticized and just cannot cope with the invective she attracts.
I couldn't have summarized that better. This is what Meghan does. Whenever a reputation-damaging expose hits, her natural instinct is to shove herself even further into our faces with these contrived PR stunts to counter the bad press. But right now, what this is doing is only showing us in real time how Meghan Markle's unraveling. Last night, Meghan Markle showed up at the Alliance for Children's Rights Gala to present an award to her best friend of the moment, Kelly.
Good evening, everyone. How are you doing tonight? I am so grateful to be here to be able to celebrate my dear friend and co-founder of Alliance of Moms and board member for Alliance for Children's Rights, Kelly Zajfen, as she is honored with the Francis M. Wheat Community Service Award. So many years ago, Kelly and 4 friends recognized the need to create a supportive community specifically for young moms who are in the foster care system. And from that idea, Alliance of Moms was formed. Now that moment and that idea has evolved into powerful programming that serves families and pregnant or new moms to equip them with the tools, training, and community they need for their motherhood journey ahead. Now, given that Kelly is a mom, and an amazing one at that, it'd be easy to assume that this light bulb moment came when she became a mother. But if you ask her, she will tell you it began much longer ago.
So saturating the news feeds everywhere, this story about Meghan Markle showing up to the Alliance for Children's Rights in Beverly Hills Thursday night to present an award to her longtime close friend, Kelly McKee Zajfen. And what it looks like to me is Kelly is helping Meghan do damage control. And given that nobody believes that Meghan is a good person or even a good mother, so now it's coming out that Meghan and this Kelly woman have known each other for almost 2 decades since they first met in a different life. Apparently, she attended Kelly's wedding with Trevor Engelson. In a statement given to Hello Magazine about Meghan, Kelly says, "She's an incredible role model in living a life of service. She does not necessarily do everything loudly. She does things quietly, so it's really beautiful to watch. I think we feed off of each other because we love to give back, and we love to support and be of service to others." Kelly explained that Meghan always shows up for her. She continued on to say, "Meghan is one of my best friends, and I'm honored that she said yes to presenting and that she's been along this journey with me as well. She supports the Alliance, and she's been doing this for a few years now." Referring to Meghan's children, Archie and little Betty, she added, "She not only shows up for my family, but it's a real privilege to be able to watch her mother too, and so it means a lot for her to be a part of this." Well, of course, Kelly was forced to add that in because, don't you know, Meghan is a mom? Like, what kind of reality are these PR people living in? Do they honestly think the public is that stupid to believe that Meghan's all about a life of service? Like, watch this again. This is not a woman who has any kind of confidence where she has to cling on to this woman, Kelly. So now they're building this narrative of Kelly being this longtime best friend for over 2 decades. Well, if that was the case, then where was Kelly for Meghan's wedding? If they were so close and such good friends. Everything is so calculated and contrived with this woman. Like, what happened to Abigail Spencer? Like, where's she now? But what's really tripping me out, though, is this. Like, why is Meghan resting her hand on the belly of this woman who is about to give birth? Literally. Does anybody recall anybody ever touching Meghan's moon bump? I don't even recall Harry touching Meghan's moon bump and rubbing it the way that Meghan's rubbing it here. This goes to show you how sick this woman is, because knowing that this belly bump is what everybody's going to be looking at, considering the theme is the Alliance for Children's Rights and being a mom. So of course she's got to put her hand on Kelly's belly because Meghan, I think, in my opinion, was never pregnant. And if you were pregnant, you know that that's not something that you would want people doing to you. And here we have Meghan invading the space of Kelly, all to make it about herself because she's a mom. In my opinion, this was highly inappropriate for a red carpet. But let me tell you what's going on here. You see, Meghan, even though she may look like nothing is wrong, everything's fine, inside, Meghan has a tremendous amount of anxiety. And what I've noticed is that this causes Meghan to be over the top and actually awkward and inappropriate. Meghan doesn't understand how to engage appropriately in social settings. And we've seen this time and time again, the awkwardness of this woman. In this case, Meghan thinks that putting her hand on Kelly's belly shows her that she is maternal and that they are very close. This is what's going on in her mind, but to the world, it just looks not only immature, but also childish, as well as inappropriate. It also shows that Meghan has no understanding about boundaries, and Meghan's using this woman as a prop for good PR. Now, why do you think no one was able to do that with Meghan's moon bump? Not even Harry ever touched or rubbed Meghan's belly. And Meghan's here looking like a fool, rubbing this belly as if it's her child in the womb. And this is the insecurity clearly coming out in Meghan because she just doesn't know what to do with her hands. Normally, she's clutched on to Prince Harry and standing behind him when she doesn't have any kind of confidence or is somehow insecure about where she's at and what she's doing. I think Meghan was petrified. You can see how uneasy she looks when she looks at Kelly. Why Meghan puts herself through this every time something comes out in the media to prove to the world that it doesn't bother her is beyond me. Like, I don't know why you would torture yourself. If it makes you feel better that you're getting dressed up and you're going out there and showing the world that it doesn't bother you, fine. But it clearly does bother her because of the behaviors that we're seeing right now, which makes it even worse. She's now getting even more criticized for the inappropriateness on the red carpet. Like, Meghan's standing there as if Kelly is her lover. This doesn't scream to me confident, independent woman. This just shows her insecurity, and she looks like a fool. A complete fool. At least Harry has some humility to not show his face. Yeah, I'm guessing that's why he didn't go to this thing with Meghan. Meghan seems to be showing up more and more to these so-called red carpet events and galas by herself, which leads me to believe that Meghan is now in her 1995 Diana phase where Diana was touring the gala and charity circuit. Could this be the signs of a divorce coming? I sure hope so. Who knows? Maybe Tom Bower's book will send these two over the edge and they finally call it quits. And Harry packs his bag and he gets out of the United States. I don't care where he goes, just leave this country and go away. To finish off this short video, The Telegraph yesterday did an interview with Tom Bower, and Tom Bower goes into telling this story that was not serialized but is going to show up in the book Betrayal about Meghan's tone deafness and how self-absorbed this woman is that she can't grasp, I guess, the social cues or pick up on that it's not always about her. But listen to what he had to say about an incident that happened in Colombia.
She's tone deaf to others. She just can't do what we wanted. She's toxic. Would you describe Meghan then as narcissistic?
I'll give you another example, which comes out in the book and wasn't serialized, of her tone deafness. So she went to Colombia at the invitation of the vice president, a woman whose background extremely poor, left-wing woman who hoped that Meghan would contribute to her charities for children. And in a speech to a group of young people, she talked about how women must find their voice, how Colombian women need to actually be more powerful. And there she is sitting next to the vice president, who came up literally from an impoverished mining village, whose own children had to be sent out of Colombia because they were threatened by death. And she's completely obsessed by herself, and then goes into how she's very proud of Lilibet, her daughter, who's finding her voice. I mean, she is so self-obsessed.
And I have to add that she's an absolute nightmare. And this woman is not going to learn, and she's not going to stop. Because in her little warped mind, she doesn't see that she's done anything wrong. And that it's not her fault, but it's everybody around her. The whispers have already started going around that she's blaming Harry and his family for all of this.
Your family wants us to fail. Everything I have worked hard for has been ruined by them! Your brother is jealous of my success! I was on the show, son!
We can only imagine what is going on behind closed doors. I'm guessing that it's not fun, and I do have deep concern for the two little invisible children that they're supposed to have in their care. I don't think it's a surprise that Meghan brought this little girl, little Betty, out to distract everybody from the headlines that have been hitting the media. What's concerning in what I see is the condition of this little girl. Her hair, her dress being soiled. And then you have little Archie, who is never seen. And it makes you wonder, like, what's going on in that house? And how is Meghan treating these children when the camera's not on? Because in the little snippets that we do see, Archie and little Betty don't seem to be behaving normally like regular kids. I don't think anybody cares anymore to see what these children look like, but it's kind of hypocritical for Harry and Meghan to talk about online safety when they're putting their own children out there. And Meghan's doing this in a way to exploit them, particularly little Betty, to promote her business, which I find absolutely repulsive. And I do think that Meghan is ashamed of Archie, hence the reason why she's only using little Betty for her as ever whatever brand. I mean, you can see we're dealing with a really wretched and vile human being. And that's why everything that is about to come her way in less than a week from Tom Bower, she deserves. And so does Harry, because to some degree, he's equally as wretched as Meghan. Now, what I felt really hopeful about was what Tom Bower said at the end of this Telegraph interview, in which he doesn't think Meghan is going to be going into politics any longer.
Snubbing, wasn't there?
There was a mama snubbing. But no, they got on very well with the Bidens.
But do you think she wants to go into democratic politics?
I think there was a
in the US?
moment, but not anymore. I think that moment is...
Never say never, Tom, because the one thing that we can give Meghan Markle is that she's definitely not a quitter. And nowadays, what we've seen with the Democrats is that if they want somebody in power, they will put them in power. And if the price is right for Meghan, she'll go for it. Especially if, let's say, Harry leaves her, if the day ever comes, God willing. She will go for a position in government because she's going to show the royal family what they're missing out on. That is what's going to fuel her to run for some type of office. And given that Meghan just can't let things go with the royal family, she is going to make it painful for the rest of their lives, especially when Catherine and William come into power. She is not going to be able to handle it unless she's also in a position of power. So I don't think we can really rule out politics just yet. This woman's not done creating havoc for people in this world. Trust me. So we're just going to have to wait and see. But until then, we can just sit back and enjoy the unraveling that we're going to see over the next couple of weeks. And I think it's going to provide us some good old-fashioned entertainment. So bring it on, Tom Bower. Bring it on. But what do you guys think? Do you think that this was inappropriate of Meghan to be touching Kelly's bump like this so intimately? Do you think Meghan is unraveling? Definitely let me know your thoughts below, and as always, I will be back with more content, but until then, please be safe, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!
Such a fraud.